Hello, hello, leaders. I am Coach Tiara, and I'm here to give you communication tips and strategies to help you both personally and professionally. I really appreciate all of you for watching my broadcast and supporting my content. Thank you for all of your positive comments and your warm energy. I just love doing this work. If you don't know me, I love working with leaders. They're my audience, and I love giving them strategies to help them win and succeed in life. Most of my clients do life-changing work, and so they need some of those inner dialogue tips that help keep them motivated and continue to help them keep going. And some people are just at the very beginning of their journey. And so anyway, like I said, I started off giving communication tips to help people connect with one another. But what I found is that if you do the inner dialogue work, then how you communicate with others tends to take care of itself. And so I do these videos just to help you with the inner dialogue that you need to help you to win in life. And so tonight, what I wanted to talk to you about today is just the power of being able to grow the positive energy in your life. Sometimes during this time of the year, people are going through grief. They're going through sadness from the holidays. If they've lost any family members, if they're enduring any stress, it has indeed been stressful times. I particularly find that people tend to struggle sometimes after the election and also around daylight savings time when you're just not getting enough sunlight. It's dark, you go into work and it's dark, and you leave work and it's dark, and it's just an easy time to be very triggered. And so what I want to do is I want to encourage you all tonight to be able to understand just what we can do to instantly make our day better and improve the circumstances that we're in right now. You know, sometimes we can be so focused on trying to get to the next thing that we're not taking enough time to see what we can do to communicate with ourselves to improve the situation we're in by simply improving our attitude. And that's hard to do because if you are a problem solver like I am, and that can be an obsession of mine, admittedly, then it's so easy to always think about tomorrow and getting to the other side and the grass being greener and if I can get on the other side of this problem. But sometimes the problem is how we feel. And how do you resolve that? How do you get to that place in your life where you decide that you're going to change you, not the rest of the world around you? Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to give you my disclaimer that this is a kingdom conversation. And if you are members of this kingdom, you know who you are. But if you are not, it is an open invitation. Feel free to inbox me because I do love sharing my faith with others. That's the perspective that I come from when I share my tips and strategies. They are faith-based. And so what we're going to talk about tonight is just some of the tips that you need to succeed with being able to have peace, being able to have joy, and enjoying your life in the situation that you're in. Let's just say that maybe you don't like your job, you don't like your work, you're not feeling fulfilled by it. I've done some previous videos on finding your purpose and your destiny, and being able to find work for yourself that is fulfilling, that will give you the energy that you need. But sometimes we're stuck, right? Sometimes you cannot make that change right now. So how do we enjoy ourselves right where we are? One thing I'm going to challenge you to do is I'm going to challenge you to change your filters in life. Sometimes our filters are counterproductive for us. So let me give you an example. If you see the world through the eyes of what is good versus what is bad, then it's really going to bring you down, right? Because what's happening within your mind is you're always seeing the world in the light of what you approve of versus what you disapprove of. And so if you associate certain words, like for example, the word work, if you associate the word work with something negative, being tired, being frustrated, going to a job that you don't like, some people instantly, when we say get a job or work, this is what they think about. They think about it negatively. Stop thinking about good and bad. Start thinking about what is productive versus what is not productive. So take the good and bad filters off. Most things are good. Almost everything can be good in its proper context, in its proper timing, right? Most things are. There are very few things that are just bad in itself. There's a reason why something would be good versus not, right? Let's say if someone ends a person's life, right? In the case of war, we would see someone who's ended their life for our country as a hero, that they have killed a villain. We've also seen it be, we will see it's a good thing when it comes to self-defense, to be able to take down an enemy. But there are also times when we think of these words, when we end someone's life, that it's a bad thing, right? So Stop thinking in terms of what's good and bad. Think about what is productive versus what is counterproductive. This will help you because if you start thinking of certain words as good and bad, then it's going to spare you the energy of what it takes for you to go out and do these things, because we have to work. So you can't think of work as a bad thing. If someone says you got to work on the relationship, don't think of working as a bad thing. Working is not a bad thing. Working is a privilege. It is an honor. It means that you have gifts. It means that you have skills that you develop. It means that you have opportunities. It's a blessing to be able to work. It's a blessing to be needed. It is a blessing to be productive in life, to be a productive member of society, to be a productive member of your family, to be able to be a producer. These are things that are good things. So try not change your filters for certain words that you have to connect with every single day, especially if it's something that you have to do. If it's something that you have to do, think of it as a good thing. Change your entire definition of what that means when someone says you got to work on it, you got to work hard. These are not negative things at all, okay? So go ahead and change the filter for it to be a productive thing versus it being like a negative thing. All right. So another word like confrontation. Some people, as soon as they hear the word confrontation, they think of it as a bad thing. Confrontation is not a bad thing at all. Confrontation is a really good thing. It means that someone cares about you and they're confronting you because they're trying to build a bridge to come back to you, right? Now, maybe they don't know how to do that, and maybe they're not doing it the right way, but if they're confronting you, it just means that they care. So see it as, is it productive or is it counterproductive? If someone's confronting you and it is productive, that is a good thing. So take off the good, bad filters. That's what I would advise you to do, because it will spare you of being able to filter life through negative energy and negative context. So think, hey, someone is confronting me with an issue. That's a good thing, because I have the opportunity to resolve an issue. Because sometimes what you don't want people to do is resolve their issues within themselves that they have with you without even giving you the opportunity to speak up for yourself or explain. Okay? So we've been taught a lot of times some wrong things. Like I said, some people automatically, when they hear job and they think of work as a negative thing, they'll go get a job they hate because they automatically think that work is bad. They don't even associate the word work with something that could be positive. And so they miss the opportunity to explore their gifts and find work that's really suitable for their personality, for the joy that they could have in life, for the best possible fit. They just think, let me go do something to make money. That's not what work is. It's about making money. And that's fine. That's a byproduct of the work that you do, but it should be far more fulfilling for that. It should be an opportunity for you to grow your skills. It should be an opportunity for you to grow as a person. It should be an opportunity for you to grow your connections and your friendships, your social circle, and expand those sort of things. There's so many great things that's associated with work. So let's talk about some other things. My next point, beyond just being able to change your filters and think of things in a productive standpoint versus a negative, good, bad, think productive, counterproductive. I want you to think about committing to your actions and not your emotions. So let me explain what that means. You know, sometimes we are very emotionally driven, especially in our modern Western world, where we are becoming far more aware of our mental health and our stances on those things. That is fine. It's fine. But you have to put this information in its place. You know, it's not for us to be so aware of our emotions that we don't know how we ought to behave. Okay. And those things can be in two different places. And what we would call that, when I was coming up in the real world, when your behavior is higher than your feelings, we would call it discipline. And so I want us to go back and take a stance to committing to how we ought to behave. One thing that you'll have to do, and if you want to be happy in life, you have to decide that you're not going to be easily offended, because the two cannot exist. You can't be easily offended and be a person who has joy and peace. You can't do both. You're going to have to make a choice, okay? So either you can be offended or you can be happy. Now, it doesn't mean that someone is not capable of offending you emotionally. It just means that you have chosen to behave as though you are unbothered. Okay. And that is very powerful as a stance for someone to come and offend you, and you just you walk away from it. And guess what? After a while, when you've walked away enough from people who have offended you or put you down or whatever the case may be, if they did it on purpose, then eventually your emotions actually do follow that pretty quickly. But you have to practice that first. So commit to the behavior of being unbothered, and eventually your mind and your emotions will follow. But if you're waiting for your emotions to take the lead, I want you to see your emotions as like a child, okay? And then your mind, that part of you is the adult. If you let the child lead, then you're going to be in big trouble. The same way as if you let your kids run the house. You can't do that, right? Because kids are very emotional. They're very impulsive. They're very aware of how they feel. And you have to teach your children how to put their emotions aside and do what is right, do what is best, and to be disciplined adults. You have to make that same commitment to yourself as you are growing. So please, I want you to learn and commit to your actions to say, I'm going to behave as though I am unbothered. I'm going to behave as though I have joy in life. Now, I'm not talking about being fake. I'm talking about making a commitment to saying, this is what I'm going to do, and everything else is going to follow suit after that. That is really paying attention to yourself as a complex being, as an emotional being, as a spiritual being, as an intellectual being, okay? So when you see yourself in those parts, because sometimes the heart and the mind are in two very different places, and that happens where we have so much emotional conflict, okay? It happens all the time, especially if you are a spiritual person, where sometimes your faith and your emotions and your heart are in three different places. In peace, what that means is that you're whole. We have this saying, shalom, nothing missing, nothing broken. You get to be one with yourself. There's so many religions that are very focused on achieving oneness. But for you to do that, that is all about discipline, and it has nothing to do with how you feel, but it is your ability to allow your mind and your spirit to be in the same place, and then letting your emotions come into submission of what you have decided to do as a disciplined being. So I want you to commit to the behavior of being unoffended and unbothered, because that is the only way you're going to have peace in life. You cannot be easily offended, and you cannot behave as though you were easily offended and have peace within yourself and have peace with others. You cannot do both, okay? Now, number 3, this is very important. This is what I say, what you could do to give yourself an instant promotion. And this is just where you are. Because once again, if we go back to the concept of work, this is how you're going to make the work that you are in right now more fulfilling for you. I hope you're listening to this part, because this is where some of us need a lot of work, but you've got to let the channels of love flow, okay? Let it flow somewhere to give you some meaning as to why you're doing what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Why am I spending, 8 to 10 hours a day doing this thing? You've got to let the love channel flow somewhere. Okay, which means that there are parts that you're going to have to lose. So here's what you can do. Either you can really allow yourself to fall in love with what you are doing. And that means that, you're investing in finding out how to be better. You're finding mentors who are going to help you to grow because you want to be better at what you're doing. Or you can fall in love with why you're doing it, right? What's the meaning behind what you're doing? Is it fulfilling work? Is it making an impact in your community? Is it, growing the economy somehow? Find a why, something that you love about why you're doing it. If you can't do that, then fall in love with who you're doing it with. Maybe you love your coworkers. Maybe you've got a great team. Maybe you have a great supervisor that is wonderful, and they're really helping you out. So you can let that channel of love flow. Maybe your coworkers are great friends. So maybe that's where you have allowed that love to flow. Or you can fall in love with who you're doing it for. Maybe you're doing this for your family. Maybe you're a caretaker. Maybe you have, a spouse and children that you're trying to take care of. Either way it goes, there's a part where you have to completely, totally let go of yourself in this process of doing the work that you were doing. So that way you can have the energy that you need to let this work revitalize you. And if you are so blessed that you can love what you're doing, you can love why you're doing it, you can love who you're doing it with, and you can love who you're doing it for all at the same time, then you are truly blessed. And I hope that you will find the opportunity to express gratitude for any of these levels, because that is the key to each of them. So when you are grateful for what you're doing, I'm grateful that I get to do this work. I'm grateful that I get to sharpen my skills. I'm grateful that I get to grow my skill set. I'm grateful that I get to become a professional, that I've gone from being, like a skilled person to being a pro, to being an expert. I'm grateful for why I get to show up to work every single day, and the work that we do and the impact that it makes to our customers and the people that we are reaching. I'm grateful for who I'm doing it with, my coworkers who are fun and they make me laugh and they make this workday easier to get through. Or I love my family. I love who I'm doing this work for. I'm so grateful for them. I'm so grateful that they entrust me with this experience, that they can trust me to come to work every single day and show up for them and provide for them in everything that we've been able to build on the sacrifice that I'm making. This is so important. If you can let that love channel flow and totally get over yourself, then you can give yourself the promotion that you need from right where you are, right in the job that you have right now. And when you can let that flow and you can allow yourself to really truly appreciate what you're doing, then watch yourself promote. And I'm serious. You'll attract some positivity towards you. Next thing you know, you're getting promoted because you're such a joy to work with, or because you have new creative ideas. These are the things that help you produce the energy that you need to keep going. But as long as you are focused on what you don't like, what you don't feel like doing, how difficult this is, how much you're not getting, then it's going to take from your energy. It's going to take from your motivation. It's going to take from your productivity. It's going to take from your relationships at home. It's going to take from your experiences and keep you from connecting with your coworkers. All those things are blockages that's going to stop you from being able to go to the next level. So find your why, find that, fall in love with it, allow yourself to fully submerge in it so that you can be, I love this saying, you can be a fountain and not a drain, because I really resent the idea that we can spend an hour getting to work or in traffic or whatever the case may be, 8 hours being there, another hour trying to get home. That's 10 hours out of your day. Then you're trying to sleep. Hopefully, maybe you get at least 6 to 8 hours. And then you've got so little time to be with the people that you're with. Like, who wants to live that life where every step is so draining? You got to find something that you love, and you've got to allow yourself to really, really fully indulge in it. But if you are having a hard time with all of those things, then baby, I got to tell you that it's you. It's seriously time for an attitude change, and you got to get over yourself, okay? Make peace, enjoy now, and things will ultimately change for the better, because you don't want to be a person that no one wants to be around, no one wants to work with. People think that you're difficult. Your family's not looking forward to you coming home because you're so negative and you bring down the energy of the environment. You don't want to be that person. You just end up losing it all. That's what happens. That's what happens. Customers don't feel appreciated by you. You're not helping the business produce and get better or grow. Your coworkers don't want to be around you. Your friends and your family are like, oh, they're such a wet blanket, or oh, they're just, there's such a dark cloud. You don't want to be that. So find something. Give the love that you want to receive. Find something that you love and just let go. And I have to say this and emphasize this point, because so many of us are afraid to love something. And that's something where, like I said, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm a communications person. So I like to give you those tips and tools. But if there's a true blockage, I encourage you to seek support of a mental health professional. So that way you could allow these things in your life to enhance the quality of your experience. And this is what I always say: if you gotta work, if you have to do it, you might as well fall in love with it. Now, I encourage you to watch some of my other videos on purpose and destiny, because I truly believe that this is the road to get you there. Not everyone is going to be able to just quit their day job. And I would never tell anyone to go on the path to entrepreneurship that I took and just, jump and grow your wings on the way down. I would encourage everyone to be very smart and very strategic. But I do believe that there are just things in your heart that you need to change right now, things you need to work on right now so that you can enhance your experience. So just to give a really quick recap over what we talked about for those of you who have just joined, and so thank you so much for watching this broadcast. But remember to change your filters. Stop looking at life through good and bad. Another end point is stop looking through life or listening to people from the perspective of agreement versus disagreement. You can actually truly just take in information. You can validate that information without agreeing with it whatsoever. But what you can do is say what is productive for you and what is not productive for you. That is a much better filter to to take in information with, especially when we're talking about the communication process. Because if it's always about agreement or good versus bad, you're going to find yourself having a lot of unnecessary arguments, unnecessary confrontations with people, where maybe they're approaching you just to talk to you and share with you where they're at and how they're feeling or what's going on with them. And if you're trying to say, well, I don't agree with that. Well, now you're in an argument that was unnecessary. You could have just listened, heard where they were coming from, taken in the information, and considered, what we can do to build a bridge based on the perspective that you have. And shared your perspective as well. There are much easier ways to go about life, but change your filters is so important. Think about what is productive versus what is not productive. That is so important. The next one was to commit to your actions and not your emotions. That's so important. Remember, discipline yourself. Allow your behavior to lead your emotions and not your emotions to lead your behavior, or you're going to do some really self-destructive things. The third point was to let the love channels flow. Find your why, find your what, find your who. All those things are so important, okay? So these are the things that helps to bring positive energy into your life. And the last point was to make peace and joy right now and know that things will ultimately change for the better. You don't want to say, okay, family or people that I love, as soon as this situation changes, I can make peace with you all. No, make peace now. It's a position. It is not circumstantial. If your peace is circumstantial, then you don't have peace. You don't. You don't have peace at all. That's not real. Peace is a position that you take. It is a behavior. It is an action. It is a discipline. It is a stance. It is a commitment that you make right here and right now. Do not allow the circumstances to control how you interact with others and how you're going to feel about your life. You have to decide how you feel about yourself in your life. That's far more powerful. That way, no matter how bad things get, whether you lose your job, you lose your money, you lose your health, you lose your income, you have to have enough self-worth and value for who you are and faith and belief to know you can get to the other side. You have to know that. You have to know that, because people go through hard things in life and it turns on a dime all the time. And I would probably say there's no better time to be alive than right now. We have more technology and things than ever. Medical technology. We have more hope than any other generation has ever had, because we have so many tools. We're able to build connections and find support and get information that no other generation could achieve in seconds. Build communities in seconds with people who are far across the world. You gotta just look at how you feel about yourself. Commit to how you feel about yourself first. Then the things around your life will change, okay? Don't focus on how you feel about your life. How do you feel about yourself in this experience? And do you believe, and are you committed to having the wherewithal to get through anything that comes at you with grace and humility and patience and perseverance and gratitude? I really hope this broadcast was helpful, and I hope you will share it with people who just, maybe they hate their job and they're having a hard time, or they're getting through a hard time, and maybe they're complaining constantly and they're struggling to find joy in life. They're struggling to find that peace. Please share this with them. Please tag them in this video. If you yourself are in that position, I just want to encourage you that you can do this. You can do this. You got this, okay? You are powerful. I love saying this about just the human race, especially mankind. You are so powerful. There is no other species in this planet that can cross boundaries like we can. Think about that. Everything else has to exist where it is. A fish has to stay in the sea. It can't come and build and invent things to come into the land. We can go into the ocean. We can go into the sky. We can go into the outer space. Everything else that exists has to exist within limits and boundaries, but we don't. You are powerful beyond measure. You have no idea the power that you have within you. If we can do that, if we can have that kind of dominion, there is no other species on this planet that has a pet human, but we have pet animals. We are the ones who are able to make the beasts of the earth submit to us and become our pets. Think about the power that is in that. You don't stop and take inventory of history and what we've been able to accomplish and achieve, what we've been able to do, what we've been able to build, what we have been able to create so that we can survive. And now we're living in almost pure luxury most of the day, including sitting down and being able to watch a broadcast or deliver a message like this. Understand the power that you have, and do not waste another minute feeling limited and complaining about the boundaries that are in your life when we have crossed boundaries that people have only dreamed about. Wow, think about that. God bless you all tonight. I love you, but God loves you more. I hope this was so helpful. I hope it was encouraging for you. Please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would love the support. You can also visit my website, tiaramey.com. My books are also on my website. For Christmas, I tell you what you can do for me. You can buy a book, and if you love audio books, then I'm available on Audible. My book is called Canceled: Mastering Difficult Conversations in a Modern World. But I really appreciate you for watching me and for supporting me. God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.